Hey folks, welcome to the channel. So today I'm back again with a cool JavaScript CSS project for you. So today we are going to create a rotating navigation. So as you can see, uh, we have a navigation bar here, which is like 3 lines. And if I click on this one, you can see the content of the HTML rotates to the right side, and then user is shown 3 links that are those are home, about, and contact. And when user clicks on this cross button, the article again gets restored in the last position, and all those 3 links are getting hidden. So this is a cool project to make, and it involves a lot of CSS. And today we are going to use just a couple of lines of JavaScript to do this trick or the functionality. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder called rotating navigation. In this, I'm going to create an index.html page where we are going to house all our HTML. The next thing I want to do, as usual, is to create a style.css file where we'll be keeping all our CSS styles so that the page exactly looks like this, and it has this cool navigation features. And the next thing I would like to have is I would like to create a JS file which will be responsible for responding to the click events of the mouse. So let's get back to our index.html file and let's get started. So what I'll do is I'll first open this and I'll get rid of the working one. So as you can see, we are starting with a fresh HTML page which doesn't have anything. So let's go ahead first and change the name or the title of the HTML to rotating navigation. Let's save this one. Okay, the title changed, and today what we are gonna do is we are going to use some style sheet from Font Awesome. So I'm going to reference that CDN, that is a content delivery network. So I'm using a CDN for Font Awesome, and I'm going to use those. So we'll be using some icon in our application. The next thing I would like to do is create a link for our CSS file. And at the very bottom, I want to create a script source for our index.js file. So that way we are done with the basic. Now let's go ahead and move to our HTML part. So on the HTML part, first I would like to create a div with a class container. So let's do that. Inside this, I'm going to again create a div which will be having a class of circle container. And inside this, let's create another div with class circle. Now here I'm going to use the icon tag of Font Awesome. So for that I need to do I dot for class, and I'm going to use Font Awesome and Font Awesome times, and hit this. Okay, and this I want to keep inside a button. So let's create a button with ID equals to close, and let's put these icon inside this button. Similarly, we are going to create another button which will be for opening. So let's call it open, and for this we are going to call it bars. So there you go. Let's save it. So now you can see a cross button is there, and an equal bar signs is there. So we will be hiding and showing these alternatively. So next thing I want to do is I want to create that page which had the article about the cat and some gibberish lorem ipsum which we'll be using. So let's go ahead and make that. So that I'll be doing inside the container div, but outside the circle container. So the circle container is just this part, and outside that would be here. So let's go ahead and create another div with class content. Inside this, I'm going to use a h1 heading tag, and I'm going to say this lorem ipsum. You can say anything. And I'm going to use small tag, so that here I'll be just saying the author's name. So let's say lorem ipsum author. And the next thing I want to do is create a paragraph tag, and inside this I'll be generating lorem for 25. So that's that. Let's save it. So you can see we are getting our lorem ipsum content in here. Let's see if we can fix it. The next thing I want to do is I want to create a h3 tag again. In the h3 tag, I want to say my cat, and inside this, just after this, I'm going to create an image tag, and I'm going to provide a source to it. So what I'll do is, like, I'll copy an image of a cat, and I'm going to paste that in my folder. And now what I want to do is I want to reference that JPEG file. So you can see nice cat is there. Also, what I want to do is alternatively, I would like to set a text in case the image doesn't load for some reason. So I'm just gonna call it cute cat photo, and I'm gonna set some width. I'm gonna set width to 300 pixels and height to 250 pixels. So now it takes this much space, which is good. Next thing I want to do is create another paragraph tag after this. So let's go ahead and create that, and again I'm going to use lorem 25 times so that it has some content in here. And after this, what I want to do is I want to create a navigation bar here where I'll be listing home, about, and contact links. So for that, what we'll do is we'll go outside of the main container div, and here we'll be using the HTML nav tag. Inside this, let's create an unordered list, and let's create a list in which we are going to use the icon tag with class FAS and FA-home, and we are gonna call it home. So I'm gonna copy it, and I'm going to paste it 3 times, and let's edit this. So I'm gonna call it user alt, and this will be about, and the next one we're gonna use envelope, and this will be contact. This will be contact. So let's save this and see. Okay, so we are getting a cool icon, and next to it the names which I have given to those links. These links are not a working one. This is just for like representation purposes. So even if you click on this one, since they are not link, they are not going to redirect you anywhere. So I think we are done with our HTML file. So let's go ahead and move to our style.css, and let's start styling our classes. So the first thing I want to style is the body. So we'll use font family of sans serif. Background color, I want to use gray. Color, I want to use black. Overflow on the X side, I want to keep it hidden, and I don't want any margin, so I'm going to set margin to 0. So let's save this. You can see the changes on the right side as I'm defining the classes and providing the CSS property to that. So let's go ahead and provide background color to the container. This time we'll use white smoke, and we'll do a width of 100 view width, and the height we're going to use 100 view height. We're going to use a minimum height instead of height, so let's just use the minimum height and not height. Let me save that. Let's use the padding of 50 pixels. And what I want to do is I want to use the transform origin property, and I want to set it to top left, so that on top left from here the transformation will happen. So when you click on this button, the page will be having this corner as a pivot point. And the next thing property I want to set is I want to provide a transition to it, which will be transform, and it should be like slow, so 5 seconds, half of a second, and it should be linear. Yep. Next thing we'll do is we'll set the container show now class, and let's set transform to rotate, and we'll rotate by 20 degree. So right now nothing is happening, but if I go to the index.html class, and on the container if I add nav show now class, and if I save it, you'll see this is moving, right? But right now also it is not moving perfectly, because you can see it is moving from inside the origin and not from this corner, so we'll be fixing that. So let's go ahead and add a couple more CSS properties to the classes. So now you can see I have added the class to the circle container in the circle, and we are using this nice arc, which is like 1/4 of the circle, and I have given a background color, certain height, and a border radius, so this looks nice. And then I have added the transition to it. So let's go ahead and add more CSS classes to it. Okay, so I have provided styles to the circle, that is this, and the buttons. So there are two buttons actually. Now they are overlapping because of the style. So one button is for opening, that is this one, and the another one, which is hidden underneath this one, is a close button with a cross. And I'm making sure with the styles that they are hidden right now. But if I go ahead and I add this class, which is called show now, to this container, and I save it, you can see a cross button showing up there. So this is looking good, but this home, about, and contact are not looking good. So let's go ahead and style our navigation and the unordered list and these list items which we have. So guys, now we are done with all our styling. I have provided styles to the navigation part itself, and I have provided styles to the unordered list and the list item. So let's go ahead and add that style to here, and let's see uh, how it works out. So it is working out nice, and then let's get rid of this and save again, and yep, it's looking good. So let's go ahead and add the logic in the index.js so that when we click on this one, it automatically rotates to the right, and when we click on the cross button, it automatically resets to the original position. For that, we'll go to our index.js, we'll create a constant called open, and we'll be assigning document.getElementById, and we'll be assigning open button to this. Again, create a constant called close, and this one will be pointing to the close button which we had. And the next constant we are going to create would be for container, and this will be document dot query selector, and we want to select the container class, this one. And now pretty simple 2 lines of code we are going to write. So we'll go open dot add event listener, and in this we'll be adding the event listener for click. And what we want to do is we want to take the container, take the class list of container, and add show nav class to it. That's it. And similarly, we'll be adding an event listener to the close button as well. And in this one, instead of adding, we'll be just removing it. So let's go ahead and see if the click button is working fine or not. Let's expand this one and see our application in action. Obviously, these links are not clickable, but when you guys will be working on this one, you guys can always go ahead and create a link. So when the cross button is clicked, those links are not visible, and when I click on this one, this nice rotating menu actually pops out, showing me all the links. I think we can make it even a little better. So there is a little bit of space is missing between the icons and the content. So let's keep the space and let's check it out. Okay, and now they look decent. So guys, I really had a lot of fun while making this video and this project, and I hope guys you would also be enjoying making this one. So just go ahead and do this one, and if you really like this video, just give me a thumbs up, share this video, subscribe to my channel so that I can produce more awesome content, and see you in the next amazing video.